true believers? It is comic book day. Let me show you what I got this week. First up is Walking Dead, issue number 176, New World Order, part 2 of 6. There's a new community that's been introduced into the Walking Dead series, and they seem as though they may have their act together, but it's the Walking Dead, so you know there's going to be something evil going on in the background. But more importantly, Michonne is reunited with someone from her past. That in itself is something of an interesting story, and I want to see where it's going. Infinity Countdown, Adam Warlock, issue number 1. I'm a huge fan of Adam Warlock, and whenever he has a story about him, generally I try to read it. This is leading into a new Infinity story, which we all know they're probably doing this because the Infinity War movie is going to be coming out this year. But regardless though, I'm still really interested in it. This issue involves Kang the Conqueror, who is somewhat acting like a good guy. It's a good prelude into the upcoming event. X-Men Red, issue number 1. Jean Grey has returned, and she's forming her own team of X-Men. This issue involves her recruiting some of her new members, including Namor, and it already establishes who the new villain is going to be in their first story arc. It's a good read for a first issue, and it does draw you in. I do have issues with Jean Grey's new uniform. She has these huge shoulder pads that are completely unnecessary, but it's something very minor and I can look past. Venom, issue number 161, Tangled Web 1 of 1. We've never really seen Spider-Woman take on Venom, but this issue fixes that. I wish this was a longer arc because I would have loved to have seen these characters battle it out even further and maybe have a story of some sort of team up together. But for what it was, I was still entertained, plus I also love Eddie Brock as Venom. X-Men Gold, issue number 21, Brotherhood part 1. Mesmero is coming back into the fold, and he's starting to recruit his own evil mutants. Old Man Logan Wolverine also leaves the team, which I think we all knew that was going to be happening anyway. We get an X-Men whooping taking place in this, but that seems to happen on Spider-Man issue number 237. Despite what this cover shows, Spider-Man does not take on Hobgoblin. Although Hobgoblin does try to take on Red Hulk, which you just know that's going to end badly for Hobgoblin. Spider-Man is more confronting his uncle, who he thought was dead, and it ends on a way where you just know these two are going to totally duke it out. Batman issue number 40, Super Friends part 4. Batman and Wonder Woman are in an alternate dimension fighting off hordes of armies. They don't age in this reality, but that time still goes by much quicker in comparison to his reality. So even though he's only there for like a day in our reality, he's there for like over 30 years in their reality. There's some sexual love interest between Batman and Wonder Woman briefly, but Batman remembers his love of Catwoman and the fact that he just recently proposed to her. So you know, that's just kind of how it goes. Finally, the last comic book I read this week was Superman issue number 40, The Last Days part 1. This is going into a different direction than I was hoping it was going to go into. I was hoping they would have some explanation as to what's happening with Krypton and Krypton's past and Jor-El, but it's more of a Superman teaming up with his son to try to help another planet after he gets a distress call. But this is only the first part, so maybe it will evolve into something more that I want to read about. So it's kind of meh to read, but I mean, it wasn't the worst thing out there. But that is it. That's my comic load for this week. I also read Iceman issue number 10, but I'll talk about that in a separate video later. What did you guys read? Leave comments down below and let me know. But with that, I will leave you. Thank you guys for watching me in this video. If you haven't done it yet, check out my Patreon site, check out my social media sites, my websites, and everything else out there. Peace, love, namaste, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. He's a prominent figure. Some haters out there don't like to remember this, but there was an alternate version of Wolverine and Hercules that were trapped in another dimension, and they were together for such a long period of time that they fell in love with each other. They don't like to remember because of the idea that maybe Hercules and Wolverine could be bisexual or gay, but still, I think it was pretty cool how they did that and handled it in the past comics.